Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, after a series of special meetings in the past couple of weeks, the St. Croix Hospital Governing Board finally came to a decision on what to do with the executive officer that they once voted to lead the hospital. Their answer was to terminate him altogether. They also made a decision to hold some meetings behind closed doors. News 2's April Knight has more.
Well, Ken Okolo's tenure at the top of JFL leadership was short-lived. In a special meeting Tuesday night, the St. Croix Hospital Governing Board voted to terminate his contract as Chief Operating Officer. That was already a demoted position. Only a few weeks ago, Okolo was sitting as Chief Executive Officer with a $360,000 a year contract that only had to be approved by the Territorial Hospital Board. But all of this was called into question when it was discovered that Okolo's doctorate came from an unaccredited school in the mainland. Okolo was terminated without cause, and the St. Croix board has been stingy with the details. Acting CEO Richard Evangelista, who's on a yearly contract of $200,000, declined to comment on Wednesday. Evangelista is now also acting chief financial officer, on top of originally already being the hospital's legal counsel. But that's not the only big development that happened on Tuesday. The board also voted to be able to hold executive meetings, barring the public from entering. It's a controversial move, especially at a time when there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the leadership of the only hospital, a taxpayer-subsidized hospital on St. Croix. The Attorney General had this to say about the executive meetings.
I don't know specifically what was stated, and I don't want to comment on something and say that they're doing something wrong. It's not a blanket situation where you just say, we go into executive session at a specific time. You have to have a reason for going into it, and that has to be stated on the record as to why you're going into executive session.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Meanwhile, Senator Kurt Viele says he is extremely disappointed that the Wanaf Louis is back in the news in reference to decisions that are being made by the board that, in his estimation, are not the wisest. Based on the recent developments, he says the Committee on Health, Hospitals, and Human Services will hold a meeting on Tuesday, May 24th at 6 p.m. All relevant parties will be invited to testify. Turn our attention to crime reports on Wednesday. Earlier today, at approximately 12:08 p.m., the 911 emergency call center reported about shots fired in the vicinity of Aria Diaz basketball court. Here's VIPD with more.
On Wednesday, May 18th at approximately 12:08 p.m., the 911 emergency call center reported shots fired in the vicinity of Aria Diaz basketball court. Upon arrival on the scene, officers discovered individuals with gunshot wounds. As this investigation is still fluid, preliminary investigation reveals that the two victims were in the vicinity of the Aria Diaz basketball court when a third individual came and started firing at them. The victims are being treated at the Wang F. Louis Hospital. The incident is under investigation, and police are asking anyone with information regarding this incident to phone Criminal Investigations Bureau at 340-712-6024 or 712-6037, or you can call 911 or the anonymous tip service at CRIMESTOPPERS USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. I'm Glenn Drake, Public Information Officer for the VIPD.
Meanwhile, the Department of Education officials say the shooting in the Aria Diaz housing community across from the Elena Christian School today caused the school to go on lockdown. All students and staff were safe and accounted for. Lockdown began at 12:15 p.m. and ended at 1:15 p.m. Students were dismissed at their regular time, they say. School is in normal session tomorrow, May 19th. Senator Kenneth Gittens sent out a scathing response to the violent incident around the school campus. Here's more.
Every time I hear of gunshots ringing out in our community, I am sickened. Our students should not have to go to school on a daily basis and be in fear, not knowing which day a stray bullet will cause their demise or that of a friend. We must continue to maintain a safe haven for our students by engaging our police officers and other law enforcement officers to do proactive policing in these traditionally high crime areas and challenge our residents to report violators to the authorities.
Here is this week's Crime Stoppers report. Police say on Saturday, May 7th at approximately 6 p.m., police responded to a shooting in the area of Ezra Tires in Mahogany Estate. Here's more.
Contact was made with a black male that has sustained several gunshot wounds to his body. The suspect in this case is described as a black male with dreadlocks. If you have any information pertaining to this incident, please notify Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or www.crimestoppersvi.org or www.p3tips.com or download the free mobile apps at P3 Tips onto your mobile device and be able to leave a tip anytime, anywhere.
In other news, Governor Kenneth Mapp has officially announced Cherie Monchez as the new Director of Communications for the Office of the Governor. Her appointment comes as part of the ongoing restructuring of the Communications Division. She replaces Nicole Bolentini, former journalist and political advisor, who will now serve as Director of New Media and Strategic Communication for the administration. Both appointments were effective May 16, 2016. Ms. Monchez, a longtime resident of the Virgin Islands, was raised on St. Croix. Most recently, she resided in Florida, where she founded a marketing firm dedicated to branding, public relations, and digital marketing. She attended St. Peter's, St. Croix Country Day School, St. Croix Central High, Union College, New Jersey, and UVI. As we reported on Monday, former President Bill Clinton headlined a rally on St. Croix as he campaigned for Hillary Clinton. According to Hillary, her husband would be involved in economic recovery initiatives. Here's how some of that might look for the Virgin Islands, according to Bill Clinton himself. News 2's April Knight has more.
It's no secret that Bill Clinton would have an active role should Hillary Clinton clinch the presidency. On Monday on St. Croix, he gave a glimpse of their stand on issues affecting the Virgin Islands. Bill Clinton pointed out advances in technology that can help propel renewable energy sources forward, something that he said the Virgin Islands' unique location is suited for.
Because you have, in most places, the sun shines 300 days a year, and a lot of places the wind blows like crazy, and the battery power to store the energy when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow is increasing dramatically.
He also addressed making education more accessible and the role of the federal government in lessening that burden. But that movement also needs to address improvements in teaching, he said.
The best school systems are those that spend their money trying to improve teaching and to help teachers teach better, and to create good cultures in schools and help principals do a better job.
On health care, Bill Clinton said the territory made the right decision expanding Medicaid, but that more work needs to be done.
If we can't get affordable insurance for the people that are insured, there ought to be a public option which allows those people, based on what they can afford, to buy into Medicare or buy into Medicaid, and we need to get equal treatment for you, then your health care problems will be fixed.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the Democratic race, Bernie Sanders campaigned in Puerto Rico ahead of their June 5th caucus, where he promised to be the island's ally in the Oval Office. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Some 12 delegates will be selected by the Virgin Islands Democratic Party on June 4th. Those 12 who will get to cast a vote for the party's nominee for the presidency. We will keep you updated. Meanwhile, Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton picked up a narrow win in Tuesday's Kentucky primary, and Senator Bernie Sanders won Oregon's primary, but it is the turmoil caused by Sanders' supporters at this weekend's Nevada Democratic Convention that has some in the party most concerned. Nevada Democratic Party leaders have accused the Sanders campaign of inciting violence at Saturday's convention. Allegations the Sanders campaign refutes, but is this latest incident a preview of what might happen at the Democratic National Convention this summer in Philadelphia? Scott McLean breaks down the chaos on the campaign trail.
Bernie Sanders is down, but far from out.
We are in to the last ballot is cast.
With a win in Oregon and narrow loss in Kentucky, he continues to be a thorn in Hillary Clinton's side, and so are his supporters. Their passion boiled over at the Nevada Democratic Convention, shouting, cursing, and even physical threats over what some viewed as a rigged system. The state party chair received voicemails like this.
I don't know how you sleep at night. You are a sick, twisted piece of and I hope you'll burn for this.
I feel like the Sanders campaign thinks that that kind of stuff is laughable, and to me it's serious. A threat to somebody's life is serious.
Sanders put out a statement condemning violence, but also claiming, quote, Democratic leadership used its power to prevent a fair and transparent process from taking place. Nevada Senator Harry Reid called Sanders' statement silly. DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz was not impressed.
There should never be a but when it comes to condemning violence and intimidation.
The Sanders campaign firing back.
We could have a long conversation just about Debbie Wasserman Schultz and how she's been throwing shade on the Sanders campaign since the very beginning.
It's all raising concern in the party that infighting could spill over into the party's convention this summer.
I worry about what it does to the electorate as a whole, and he should too.
Sanders' road to the nomination remains narrow, but he insists he still has a shot. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market at the New York Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the numbers there, we can see the Dow down 3, NASDAQ and S&P up. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Senator Jean Ford met with approximately 50 residents of Love and Lynn Housing Community to discuss the notices they received for a second time this year of an increase in their monthly rental fee. Ford encourages all housing community residents to be present at the upcoming meeting that we announced by Senator Marvin Blyden. He says residents of Love and Lynn 1 and 2, Amali Terrace, and Grandview Apartments 1 and 2 in St. Thomas should attend. Blyden said a meeting is set for next Monday, May 23rd at the CAHS Auditorium at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Now on St. John, a town hall meeting is presently underway. It began at 5:30 p.m. at the legislature for those residents in Calabash, Boom, and Bellevue. We will follow this story for you. The Department of Interior has granted some $3 million to U.S. territories for energy improvements. More than $380,000 of that would go toward the Schneider Medical Center on St. Thomas. It would help modernize the hospital's chiller plant, which is expected to result in an estimated 25% reduction in electricity consumption for the hospital. The Virgin Islands Energy Office is also getting a cut. Some $310,000 will be used for its energy efficiency market potential project, while $200,000 will create sustainable market opportunities for what they call a distributed generation market structure. Approximately 300 of St. Thomas's public, elementary, and middle school students enjoyed International Capital and Management Company's 12th annual Student Hall of Hope Celebrate Life art exhibition and fun day at the Reichel Center with musical entertainment. The talented works of art were on display.
So we're very happy to be here this morning in celebration of student creativity here in the Virgin Islands. The Student Hall of Hope has been an ongoing community service project for International Capital and Management Companies. Student Hall of Hope is really a way for us to support the creative arts in the minds of our young people here in the VI, and also to really support healthful living and positive thinking and just allowing them to reach for their goals. So we offer art supplies for every single elementary and middle school here on St. Thomas. They create these wonderful works of art that you can see around the Reichel Center here this morning, and then also do on-stage presentations. I mean, we have everything here from the Wachanga drummers to the Innovations drumline from Cancrine School. You know, we have choirs, we have all kinds of performers really just showing their creative talents and just exploring the theme of Celebrate Life.
Congratulations to the students. The United States Virgin Islands is offering a free night stay, that's tourism, along with spending credits for travel to St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas from June to October of this year. The USVI Department of Tourism announced its 2016 summer-fall promotion, which includes a 4th night free and $350 in spending credit. Travelers must book by July 16, 2016. On all travel must be completed by June 5th and October 2016. Commissioner of Tourism Beverly Nicholson Doty thanked all travel partners for supporting that promotion, which will be backed by a cooperative marketing program of $150,000 with key tour operators and $350,000 in television and digital advertising. The 5th edition of the Ultimate Flavors of the Island is underway. It began May 19th, continues until the 21st. It includes a youth chef competition. You can see the culinary students in action on Saturday, May 21st at 1 p.m. at the Marriott's, a wine pairing dinner on Thursday, May 19th, and more. The event is presented by Banco Popular. It includes a welcome cocktail, and each table will be hosted by a celebrity chef. There will be a mini tasting pavilion and demo kitchens, plus lots of entertainment. Speaking about food and drinks, Frenchtown Brewing Company, they opened their doors in June 2015 as the VI's newest production brewery, joining St. John Brewers, who are now marking 10 years in their Mongoose Junction brew pub. The two VI brewers are joining brewers across the USA in celebrating American Craft Beer Week, which is May 16th to the 22nd. Now in its 11th year, the event is a nationwide celebration of small and independent craft brewers sponsored by the Brewers Association. Now the highlight is a simultaneous toast across the nation on Thursday, May 19th at 8 p.m. Craft lovers are invited to raise a glass of their favorite indie craft beer. On St. John, it'll be at the St. John Brewers Tap Room at 8 p.m. St. Thomas, Craft Beer Toast will take place in front of the Rum Shandy at 8 p.m. All Saints Cathedral School, a not-for-profit entity, hosted the 3rd annual Slider Showdown. Now the contest organizers accepted entries from both industry and individual competitors. The categories included Best Burger, Best Pulled Pork, Best Seafood, and Best Veggie Slider. Also, an award was presented for Most Creative Slider and a special award recognizing the People's Champ, which is the most popular slider. In addition to the competition, there was live music, bounce houses, face painting, and other child-appropriate entertainment options. Most Creative Slider winner was St. Thomas Sport and Social Club. Veggie, first place, Sidewalk Grill Express, and Seafood first place was Fresh Bistro. Pork went to first place. The Rum Shandy Burger, first place. Off the Grid Tree, and they also got the People's Champion. Congratulations to all the competitors, and funds well raised. 6 St. Thomas chefs competed in the 4th annual Coal Pot Cook-Off on Tuesday in Emancipation Garden. Chefs included Maura Hennessy, Corey McGrath, Robert Vickers, Rosie Pemberton, Drina from Drina's Farm, and culinary arts students from Eudorican School. But there are your winners right there. Drina, 2nd place, Corey McGrath first, and Rosie Pemberton 3rd place. Traditional West Indian dishes were cooked entirely in coal pots on beds of charcoal. Judging was based on taste, cooking skills, and sanitation, as well as composition and creativity. Prizes were awarded. There were local farmers, music, and local artisans. This event is a fundraiser for the St. Thomas Historical Trust, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Speaking of cooking as well, Cancer Support VI in St. Thomas, they are sponsored by International Capital and Management Company. They're announcing their next free lecture and cooking demo. They will be presented by Roy Koo, who is the Executive Chef, Director of Culinary, and Crystal Langlo, Clinical Oncology Dietitian at CTCA, Southeastern Regional Medical Center. This is a free lecture which includes delicious salmon with pasta and fresh veggies cooked the healthy way. The cooking demo will be held from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Mark it on your calendar, Wednesday, June 1st at Oceana Restaurant in Frenchtown. The mission of Cancer Support VI is to provide support, education, and information for those battling cancer, as well as assistance. Well, the annual anti-violence walk run organized by the Carroll family, remember that's coming up this Saturday, May 22nd. Proceeds will go to one lucky scholar who wrote a winning essay. Here's what past scholars wrote on their essays in fighting violence in the community.
mentorship programs, and the focus of these programs would be to provide mentors and role models for young people within the community. Also to provide programs that would help to increase students' awareness of themselves, their identity.
I talked about how the Virgin Islands has one of the highest murder rates per capita, and basically to bring that awareness to the Virgin Islands and to some of the students to let them know that, you know, we're basically in a crisis.
Ways, solutions that we can all implement in order to stop the violence in our community, ranging from schools, businesses, community organizations, charitable organizations.
AVPI, we do programs like this. We have a mentorship with the human resources. We have to create that, and we're just trying to create more programs to assist the Virgin Islands in any way.
Congratulations to the young scholars, and remember that walk run is coming up this weekend. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.